Good evening. Welcome to Divine Speech in African Traditionalism. I am your host, Augustine Ayinibisah, Ayelah. To seek permission to speak, I rise before my father and my mother, the two individuals who taught me right from wrong. I rise before my grandfather and grandmother, the two individuals are called my first ancestors. I rise before the deities, the land deities, the water deities, and the sky deities. I rise before the goddesses, especially the goddess Maat and the goddess Asasi, the mother of the Son of God. I rise before the gods, especially the god Asa, the father of the Son of God, whose name is Heru. Finally, I rise before the Supreme Being, Amon-Re, whom my tradition calls Nawene, to grant me and my guests stay in power, so that we conduct this interview, or we go through this interview by informing and helping people to learn. And with this prayer, I know I'm permitted to speak. Today, I invited a brother from the sister state of Nigeria, of the Igbo nation state, to come so that we have a conversation. Because right now, my heart is heavy, and I know his heart is heavy because of what is happening on our homeland. So we're going to be having an African discussion because of the problems we are facing. His name is Charles Emperor Adichie. He's an activist, a musician, a performer, and a producer. But most importantly, despite all the time that he's been away from home, he adheres to our traditional way of life. Brother Adichie, welcome to the Divine Speech.
Thank you, Augustine Ayelah. Thank you very much. And I'm really happy to see what you're doing with this network.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how you grew up, where you grew up, what it was like, and to this stage, how you still moving on. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I probably can write a book on that,
Okay.
But let's just make everything, let's simplify it. Originally, I'm from Nigeria, by way of the Igbo nation.
Okay.
My mother is from the riverine area.
Okay.
My father is from the Igbo. Back home, if your father is from a particular place, automatically you're from that place.
From that, right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I lost my father before I was even born. So I never saw him, and he never saw me. So that's how I got the name Adichie. Adichie means that I replaced the one that has gone.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
Apparently, my mother was pregnant. It's a long story, but yeah, so that was what happened. I grew up with my grandparents,
Okay.
Yeah. So they were like my father and my mother, because my mother left early, to take care of some other things.
Right.
So And you know, if you grow up with the grandparents, they are very cultural. Everything they do is tradition.
Yes.
Before they open their mouth to say one thing,
Mm-hmm.
they're very careful, and everything they say has a meaning.
Right.
So that kind of stuff stuck into me. Like my grandfather, when people come and visit him, they sit down. The first thing is they bring out kola nut.
Right.
They pray,
Mm-hmm.
call on the ancestors
Right.
to clear the air,
Right.
give them their respect.
Okay.
Because if the ancestors are not respected, your conversation doesn't make any sense.
True.
So you have to first welcome them. And then your guests will be happy. So, okay, they all relax, everybody relax, then they can communicate better.
Right.
So I grew up listening to some of these things, and so it's very difficult for me to not remember my tradition, no matter where I go.
My goodness.
Although, as the same token, we were surrounded by other things, like when we went to school, I became a Catholic.
Yes.
They gave me Charles,
Mm-hmm.
which is okay, you know.
Right. Yes.
I mean, we're not knocking anybody because African people are peace-loving people. We love anything that comes to us.
Yes.
If it's Christianity, fine, it's beautiful. If it's Islam, fine, it's beautiful. It's like taking vitamins.
Right.
Vitamins help to enhance you.
Mm-hmm.
But don't use that to destroy yourself. If you take too much of anything, it will destroy you. Even food, if you eat too much of one food, it will destroy you.
True.
So you take a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and use that to enhance your body. Because your body already based on your original tradition,
Mm-hmm.
which is the mold that molds you,
Yes.
you know. So that's how I've, in short, that's how I continue to stay.
Beautiful. Now, you know, when I started the opening prayer,
Right.
I indicated that my heart is heavy.
Yes.
And I know your heart is heavy.
Yes.
Before we get to the religious aspects of everything, I want us to actually talk about this, the abduction of these young girls in Nigeria. Because that is what is because I can feel, you know, how the parents are going through. I can feel how their grandparents are going through. And I see it on television how the people of Nigeria are reacting. Even the world, Obama talked about it. How did we get to this point?
It's highly unfortunate. It's highly unfortunate. And it's so complicated, my brother. It's so complicated. There is no easy answer to that. Because think about, you stay in a country that is supposed to be naturally blessed with all kinds of things. We have minerals, we have oil, we have, name it, we got it over there.
Right.
Enough to take care of the people, even the whole of Africa. Because the gift is there. But where is the money going to? Where is the wealth going to? If it's not well spent amongst the people, sometimes the people react in different ways. There are a lot of people who've been to schools, got educated, no jobs. And unfortunately, some of our politicians, some are doing very well.
Right, right.
But there's always some few who will come and mess up things, either because they are too greedy or they are too selfish or that something is distracting their attention, and then they don't do things properly. So sometimes the youth revolt in different ways. And usually when they revolt, they do wrong things.
Catastrophic. Right.
You know, and it's very, very unfortunate. So this abduction of these young girls, those people who did it, if you ask them today, why did you do this? They're probably sorry. They say, oh, why? Because at that time they were hyped up.
Right.
They believed that they were doing the right thing. You know, probably somebody is also financing them or and that person financing the one just want to make a statement to show how powerful he is or something. So the finance people say, you can do this or whatever, whatever. I don't know. But there's always somebody responsible or some people responsible before anything happens.
Right.
Things don't just happen.
Things just don't happen.
And the youth cannot just come out and start doing something. Something must have caused something to happen. So if they really look down into the whole thing happening, they have to check the whole network and find out. They can find out if they really want to. But I'm glad the U.S. is also trying to get involved in a way. You know, it's okay for them to get involved, but we have to be very careful that we do things well so that we don't go out of hand, start escalating into something else.
Right.
You know?
As a traditionalist, and as you can tell from the name of my show, Divine Speech in African Traditionalism, is simply, in my tradition, we call it Barakaboko. In my tradition.
You call what?
Barakaboko.
Okay.
It means worshippers of obelisks. There's an obelisk. So we pour the libation on the obelisk. Worshippers of obelisks. That's what we call our tradition, Barakaboko.
Okay.
What is the name of the Igbo tradition of
Wow.
Nigeria?
Igbo tradition is very deep. And they different parts of Igbo have different names.
Okay.
They call. Like my area, the Onisha people.
Okay.
First of all, the Onisha people claim that they have connections with the Yorubas,
Okay.
the Ile-Ife and the Benins. And the other Igbo people also claim that they came directly from from Egypt. They have connection.
Okay.
But directly or indirectly, we're all connected with the same place, Egypt. So, but the traditions, it's like you have 3 children, for example, and one decides to go this way, the other one decides to go there, and so on. So the one over here will take the tradition, capitalize on it, and define it in his or her own way, and create his own nation, his or her own nation.
Okay.
And so on and so forth. So the Onisha people, we believe in an Ofo.
Okay.
Ofo is like a staff. It's sacred. It's like this can be an Ofo.
Okay. Right.
And like when they talk, they say Ejilmi Ofo. In other words, whatever I do is sacred. I mean well.
In the name of.
Right.
Right.
So, and because of that, it entails what you do. Like when you talk about libation, we use hot drinks, but most importantly first is the kola nut.
Right.
But libation, I'm trying to simplify these things,
Okay.
because like Onisha people, we live near the water side, and we have respect for the water too,
Okay.
There are so many names we have for it, but due to I have to be very careful what I say.
Right. Okay.
The network, because our traditions are very sacred.
I understand.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't just come start. I have to control myself.
Right. So
we respect the water, we respect the forest. The forest, the trees are not there for nothing.
True.
There are some parts of the forest you cannot just cross and go.
Okay.
They have to warn you, be careful before you pass through here.
Right.
If you define it and go,
there you go.
There goes the neighborhood. Anything happens, you have to blame yourself.
Right.
Because you didn't listen to your ancestors or your elders.
Yes.
See, that's why we always respect our elders, no matter who they are. If your elder is talking to you, you got to be humble and listen, because they've been there. They know what time it is.
True.
So, but all the Igbos are all connected.
Okay.
We still have the same connection, but interpreted differently. We have different deities.
Okay.
So many deities.
Right.
And of course, shrines.
Right.
you know, and each shrine is for specific things.
True.
Yeah, so as you get into the places, ask people, then they can tell you A is A, B is B, C and D and so on.
Right.
So if you want to go to A, you have to know how to dress to go to A.
That's
If you have to bring in certain things to go there, you do
Yes.
that. You're going to B, you may have to dress something totally different from the A
Right.
and bring in something totally different
Okay.
and go like that. So once you know all these things, you move according to what you're supposed to do. You know, so it's not a definite answer. That's why I'm trying to be very careful.
Right. I understand.
Yes.
I understand. Even when you're talking about this, there are certain things when we do here in our tradition.
Right,
Say like you want to say a prayer.
right.
You got to be careful because you don't know what time it is back home.
Mm-hmm.
And you're probably going to be waking up the deity when it's not an emergency.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So we walk a fine line to figure out what is the best time to
Absolutely.
say a prayer to a particular deity.
Right.
You know, so I know where you're coming from.
Yes.
But what you're basically saying is that the African believe that it is not just one God that does everything. There are different entities doing different things until you can get to the supreme being. Is that what you're saying?
Look at other religions. The Christians, for example, say, oh, you have to go through Christ before you get to God. You know, well, the supreme being is not a thing you can just come say, here is the supreme being, let me go to the supreme being.
No.
Sometimes you have to go through channels.
Yes.
That's why you have these shrines, you have the deities,
Right.
you have the different things you have to do, you know? And that's why sometimes too, you have to go, we have people who have been elevated spiritually and otherwise, either, well, like the Christians may say they give somebody a knight.
Right.
We have chiefs, we have red cap chiefs, you have other titles and so on and so forth, different kinds of titles. And before you get into these titles, you have to be initiated.
Sure.
And that doesn't come easy. So these are the paths where you have to go to reach to the supreme, beyond the beyond. If you really want to get there, you know, you have to, it's not a thing you just walk 1, 2, 3, you get there. Or because you say, hey, I got so much money like this, so let me walk. It doesn't work like that. You know, you have to, there's a lot of things one has to do and understand.
Okay. In my tradition, in the Bakawako, we have something called a Bakoloko.
Okay.
Bakoloko, the actual meaning, if translated in English, is called a prophetic deity. And the Bakoloko would tell you what can happen tomorrow. A young man who has not even had a wife, maybe not even, you know, dating a woman, can go to a Bakoloko, and the Bakoloko will tell the young man's father that your son is going to get married, and the first child is going to be a boy or a girl.
Yes. Oh, yes. We have a lot of that in Africa. We have a lot of that. Yes, yes, yes. I agree with you 1,000%.
But the Bakoloko use symbols. So when you see a person who called Bakoldana or Abaga, he got all kinds of junk. But when he lays them on the table, and I'm the Bakol Abaga, and then you have come, you want to seek divination. When I start to go through those junk, I'll tell you a story you can't believe. You have something similar like that?
Oh, yes, we do.
What do you call that?
We do. I don't know. if I'm allowed to say those things, but but we have things like that.
Okay.
And there are some people who are given the gift
Right.
to do it. It's not everybody that can do that.
No.
They are special people, you know. Well, I know the Yorubas call it, it's more like a babalawo, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we have it. But you have to go to them. When you go to them, it's just like you said. They display.
Right.
Some there are different ways they do it. Some they'll look at you, ask you questions. They can tell you, okay, come and put your hand here. You sit over there, and they do their thing because they are gifted. They have been initiated.
Right.
And they know. It's not them. Once they are doing it, it's not them doing it.
No. It's a spiritual world. They've been to the spiritual world and back.
Yes.
And then they are like the mediators between the spiritual world and the natural world.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Igbo, you say some of the Igbos come directly from ancient Kemet, or they have their connection to ancient Kemet.
Yes.
Is there a creation story that you have that you tell your young or the youth? In my tradition, we don't have a creation story. I grew up to learn about my creation story, to find that my creation story is connected to the Dogon people of Mali.
Okay.
And the reason why I found that out is because of the bracelet, that the copper bracelet, that when a child is initiated to the sun god Ra, they give that child a bracelet, the copper bracelet to wear.
Right.
And the copper bracelet is part of the rings around the sun.
Okay.
And I got to learn it from that, you know, the Dogon creation story. Is there a creation story that you people have that you teach the youth?
Unfortunately, I'm sorry to say this, either because of the current indoctrination of the foreigners who have taken over a lot of things, changed things around, those creation stories seems to be suppressed.
Okay.
Nobody ever talks about that. The only ones who remember, they talk about, it's like, we know we have 4 days, just like you have 7 days a week, we have 4 days.
Okay.
Eke, Oye, Avo, Nko. So each day is a market day. And Eke, there's a Eke market. People go to a special market. You know, the women, they trade where people, you know, they are for. They have a special market on Afo.
Okay.
You know. Oye, a special market. Nko, a special market.
Right.
Where people go and buy stuff. So those 4 days, it's like 4 days a week. It continues again, 4 days cycle. That's originally how it was. And, but, like I say, it looked like some of these things are beginning to die down because our tradition is not maintained. They have Christian holidays, which is good. Nobody's saying it's not good. The Muslims have their holidays, which is good. Which one for the Africans? We, the original, our own tradition, we don't have a day off. I mean, a day we can say
to observe.
To observe.
Right.
That shows you that it looks like as if our tradition is dying down because even the current leaders don't think about it. You know, either they're busy doing whatever they're busy doing, which is okay, but don't forget where you come from.
Right.
Yeah? Where you're standing.
My brother, you just brought something up there that I never thought about. But as a student of politics,
Right.
I grew up knowing that Africa fought for independence, and it was supposed to be three-pronged.
Right.
The three-pronged means political independence, economic independence, and religious independence.
Right.
Now, we have the political independence, even if others just call it flag independence.
Yeah. Because those are the people ruling us.
Right. But we are fighting our economic independence right now. But it looks like we've completely abandoned our religious independence. The reason why I'm saying it is because I was at a function last year in October when the president of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama, came to the United States to address the United Nations General Assembly. After that, he decided to talk to the Ghanaian community and also to address the people of African ancestry and Africans as a whole.
Right.
The MC had decided that they were going to have two prayers, Christian and then Islamic. And that actually disturbed me. So when I got the opportunity, I asked the president the question, why it was so, why they were, alienating the traditional, or traditionalists, in the crowd. There are African Americans there, descendants of African slaves.
Right.
And they wanted to see Africans say a prayer in African tradition, not from Saudi Arabia and not from Rome. But this were what happened.
Very sad, very sad. Very sad. But I'm glad that some of us are changing this here, because I know there are some African groups here in the city, for example. When they have their meetings, before they start the meetings, then the way they start their prayer is they bring a kola nut. And the elders there will pray with the kola nut.
Beautiful.
By the time they finish praying, that's all you need. Because you already bless the place, bring the kola nut, everybody share, then the meeting starts. So that's how we start our own meeting now. Kola nut. If there's another elder there who can bring the hot, the libation hot drinks, pour libation, that's prayer. Because there you cover everything. Our people have to start. I think it's coming, it's coming, it's coming.
In the Yoruba tradition, when it comes to divination, they believe that except the day a person was born or the day that person dies, there is not a single event that cannot be forecast or altered. How is this possible? And is there any similarity with the Igbo tradition?
I don't understand that very well. You see, when a person is born, to the time the person is dies, there is not what?
In other words, all of those are two events that can happen without anybody changing them.
Oh, yeah. Well, that makes sense.
Anything else, we can forecast it or we can prevent it from happening. That's the alteration.
Got you.
Right.
Well, that is absolutely correct. Because before you came to this world, the ancestors already know that you're going to come. And so when it's time for you to go, they prepared a place for you already.
Right.
You go there and join them, So we know that, but while you are inside the world itself, what you do, that's the battlefield.
Yes.
So you are there to use your own imagination, you play your role, It's up to us how we play the role. And that's why we have all these ups and downs. That's probably why we have all these things happening, like Boko Haram we're talking about, and so on and so forth. All these wars going on.
Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your band, and how many members are in your band?
Well, it changes depending on what is going on, because I have musicians from all parts of Africa. I use different people. I have Ghanaians, I have Nigerians, I have people from Senegal, I use Mali, I use Burkina Faso, I use African Americans, I even use white, I use Spanish, I use different types of people, depending.
Okay.
The musicians, I've been doing this for a long time, so I use whoever is available at the time to do it. And in the course of time, I've known so many musicians who are willing to work with me anytime, Some I use them for studio sessions, some I use them for live performances, Also with dancers, I have lots of them. Yeah.
You had also worked with this Ghanaian musician, the late Joseph Ayelah, commonly known as Little Joe.
Well, I call him Bojo Bojo.
Bojo Bojo.
Bojo Bojo. No Romy
No
Romy.
Romy at once. Talk to us about Little Joe.
Little Joe is like my uncle. I call him my uncle because my uncle in America put it that way. Since I met that man, we have been very close till he left to join the ancestors. We remain close. He was a very humble guy.
Okay.
Sometimes people may not understand him because he was a comedian too.
Right.
He makes people laugh. He can get you laughing, talks all kinds of crazy stuff. And when I perform, sometimes I bring him in too,
Okay.
And then he's very good because he will do things you will not even expect him to do at his age. Sometimes he will roll on the floor,
right,
doing all kinds of crazy stuff, And he liked to imitate Louis Armstrong, Satchmo.
Okay.
I learned a lot from Little Joe. One of the things I learned from him, may his soul rest in peace, I know he's with the ancestors, doing very well there. He said in this life, no matter what happens, you may get through, people can drive you crazy, want to hit you here, want to hit you there. All you need is not just patience, but extra patience. So you got to have extra patience. If you don't have extra patience, people will drive you off the wall. And I think because we don't have extra patience, that's why there is war going on all over the people. Somebody do something, say, oh, I'm going to retaliate, boom. Before you know it, people are fighting.
Right.
Because we don't have extra patience.
And when it escalates?
When it escalates, here goes. People start dying and we start losing a lot of things. Before you know it, this nation is fighting that nation because nobody has extra patience anymore.
Brother Alan, can we see? Oh, okay. Right. Yeah, you go ahead.
Yeah, Little Joe. And he used to tell me sometimes when we start talking about people, he would say something like this, he said he understands everybody. And you keep wondering, so what does he mean by he understands everybody? In other words, he can go to any environment, fit with anybody, no matter who you are.
Right.
No matter what kind of condition you are, rich, poor, Christian, Muslim, Buddhist, whatever, he can fit in. Because he has built himself to that level where he knows he can fit in with everybody. And I think that's what we need to accommodate one another. If we can begin to accommodate one another without disrupting everybody's own integrity and personality or whatever, I think we can do a lot of things in this world.
I say amen to that, because my tribute to Little Joe is also that this was a Christian minister
Right.
who did not shun traditionalism.
Yep.
Little Joe was the first priest I saw for libation.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, it was like a miracle to me.
Yep.
I was really taken aback.
I know. And he knows tradition.
Yes.
Because I remember one time, one of our friends said they had a child, so they were trying to do like a naming ceremony for the child. So Little Joe was supposed to be the chief priest to come and do the tradition. He said we should go. He said, let's go together. Then he did the Christians thing,
Right.
But he actually schooled me into the tradition that I have to do.
Right.
Can you believe this?
Okay.
So although I knew some of it already at that time, but he schooled me deeper. So we brought the child. I had to do the tradition, brought the palm oil, brought the water, the salt, just for a newborn baby. So many things we have to do to bring the baby
to the world.
Yeah, to
Right.
the world.
Right. Introduce a new environment.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So Little Joe, I respect him. I respect the man. He did his best. Yeah.
May he rest in peace.
Amen to that.
Okay. When propagandists label African traditionalism as ancestral worship, and I'm not saying that ancestral worship is not part of African traditionalism.
Mm-hmm.
Are they trying to say that we don't know God?
Well, I don't know what they have in mind by saying that, because ancestral worship is everywhere. I'll give you an example, a simple example. In a Christian church, if you go to a Catholic church, they have the saints. You can put, they have pictures of the saints, and they kneel down in the front of the saints and pray. They go to the other one. They go to Saint this and that. They pray.
Right.
If it's not ancestral worship, what else is ancestral worship? It's the same thing.
The same thing.
They have the image of Jesus. They pray. So it's the same thing we do. So I think we, the Africans, should begin to know that, we have to wake up, in other words. We know God. Everybody knows we know God, because it's very, very obvious. Because if we don't know God, we won't have the love to receive these people when they came to Africa. When the foreigners first came to Africa, because of the love in us, we received them.
Right.
We gave them pieces of land here. You want here, stay there. Although when you give somebody 2 acres, before you know it, they take 3 acres and so on and so forth.
Right, yes.
But we have an open mind. We keep receiving people. We receive their stuff, deal with it. I don't know what else we have to do.
Well, is it because of the restrictions on traditionalism? Especially, there are certain things we can't even say in the open. So if somebody is propagating against you and you can't respond because these restrictions are so powerful, you're afraid of your life, you lack explanatory power, right?
Right.
How do you counter such a person?
Well, you got to show that person love. So listen, if you actually explain to the person that you're all saying the same thing, but just in different ways, because what you're doing is built with love.
Right.
You're not there to hate anybody. You're not there to destroy anybody. At the same token, to anybody who is coming to destroy you is just wasting his time, because you don't mean harm for no one. So that is the law of nature. So you don't have to let people. So people can always say things, because in this world, people will want to destroy you, so unfortunately, because those people sometimes don't even know what the heck they're doing. But when they come back to their senses, they realize that what they're doing is not right. You know, so but once you know that you're in the right direction, you're doing the right thing, you are keeping your hands straight, you don't mean no harm for no one, keep on going. Forward ever, backward, totally impossible.
Sacrifice is a centerpiece of African traditionalism, which includes almost all the traditions in Africa. And blood plays a very significant role. How did traditionalists know that blood derives the right results?
Well, that's very deep. But like you say, sacrifice. In this world, look, a common proverb says, if you give, you get. If you don't sacrifice to come and clean this place, if the place will be dirty.
Right.
But if you sacrifice to put some effort to do some work to make it happen, then the place will come out clean.
Right.
So everything you do, you need some kind of sacrifice. Fortunately, unfortunately, sacrifice comes in different forms. You know, sometimes, like we talk about the deities, you know, our shrines and so on. According to our tradition, there are certain sacrifices you have to give to certain things. Hey, for example, a cow. If you bring, say, like this to a cow is not going to eat that. No. You got to find out what a cow needs.
Right.
It's not every kind of food that the cow will even eat.
Right.
They eat mostly grasses and so on, you know, things like that. So sacrifice, it doesn't mean you have to go and start, like they say, you mention blood. Why? Blood is very heavy. Sometimes we use animals, we use chicken, you know, things like that. But anytime you use something and you know you're using it for sacrifice, before you even call that thing is already in heaven, that thing is peaceful.
Right.
That thing is not destroyed because you're using it to do some special dedication. So that thing is already protected. You're not killing that thing, you know? So that's the difference. That's the difference.
Now, the African connection to nature. I remember growing up when our people go to cut a tree
Right.
to construct a house or to roof a house.
Right.
They have to say a prayer. If they want to kill a goat, to sacrifice a goat, they have to give water to drink
Yes.
before they can do it. Europeans sometimes call that animus. We are animus because, in other words, we worship trees. But these are living things.
Absolutely.
And we respect them because of the fact that God created them. So we don't want to take their life away.
Just like that.
Just like that. Can you explain that a little bit?
Absolutely, because just like you said, you don't want to take their life just like that. You know, everything is living. Even right now, this house has been built. Whether you like it or not, this house is living.
Yes.
Because it has been built and created to be like this.
Right.
You don't just come one day and say, let me destroy this house. Before you destroy the house, people have to sit down and have a meeting. So, do we really have to destroy this house? What we're going to build in this place now? After we've spent this time to do this. Because this is now a creation.
Right.
So if we can think before we even destroy a house, what about the natural ones that are already grown?
True.
Eh? Those ones are even natural, already grown there. You don't just go and remove them. You got to think twice. You have to make sure you're removing them for a pure, sincere reason. There got to be a reason why you're removing them. So if that means you have to pray, you have to do some dedication before you take that life away, you have to.
I already talked about Bokolko, the prophetic deity.
Right.
And sometimes people don't recognize the powers in Africa. But one day when we were children, one day they told us not to go down to the river. And our mothers made sure that we didn't go down to the river.
Right.
Because we call them chest people, the decision makers.
Mm-hmm.
The people who put on the red crowns,
Okay.
the red hat.
Right.
I see your people, Chenwa Chebe, even puts on the red hat. And I've been watching documentaries, all your important people, the red hat. They're the people, we call them the chess people, decision makers.
Okay.
They told the whole village nobody should go down the river. Because that's what the Bokolko said.
Right.
Nobody knew. But by the afternoon, we had some rumbling from the north. There was a flood. It had rained all the way in Mali.
Right.
And the water was coming down. Now, this very Bokolko can tell, as I just indicated, what the baby in a woman's womb is, the gender. How do we get our people to understand that there are living things in Africa that actually is part of it, that we should not be afraid of being told that it's devilish?
Well, we are trying our best by doing this program you're doing. This program will continue because this is a typical example. Because you don't have a program like this in so many places. It's very, very few. They say many are called, but few are chosen, like they say in some proverbs.
Right.
You know, our people have, because we're living in a world where everybody's struggling to make a quick bucks, make a quick dollar, which is okay, but at the same time, that is not the totality of life. People are making that dollar, so whatever will help them to make the money, they start to go closer to that thing. If that means they have to deny who they are, they say, oh, this thing is not bringing me any money, so let me go to this other one.
Right.
And then they keeping away from their reality. But when they get old, then they start thinking, if I had known, I could have been probably going this way. Upon all that money I've made, so where am I today? Or what have I done to my kids? Or what have I done to this or that? So I'm just saying that to say it's up to us. But I believe the fact that me and you are talking about this, other people in some other parts of the world are probably talking about the same thing, because the spirit of our ancestors are beginning to come back to wake us up.
Beautiful.
So that we can begin to bring out this more and more, so that people can become aware who we are.
Right.
So I know we're in the right direction.
Beautiful.
And people are waking up as we speak, and more people are going to wake up every day.
My goodness. The Akajiofo, besides being the father of secret, what other responsibilities does he have as far as definition is concerned?
Akajiofo.
Right.
Akajiofo actually is like saying the hand that holds the staff.
Okay.
You know, the power.
Right.
The absolute. Yes. You say what has how do you what was your question
he's the father of secrets.
Yeah.
Besides being the father of secrets,
Okay.
what other responsibilities does he have?
Okay. Actually, what you call the secrets may not even be secrets to start with. You know, they just put it that way, the father of secrets.
Right.
You know, His responsibility basically is to bring peace to the world.
Okay.
That's the main responsibility, is to bring peace to the world.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to bring peace, sometimes you have to go into the inner chamber.
Beautiful.
And that is the secret you're probably talking about.
The Holy of Holies.
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. Because deep beyond, deep down, that's where you can get things happening.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Akajiofo you're talking about.
Say, like in my tradition, we have the rain chasers,
Mm-hmm.
we have rainmakers.
Yes.
Same person.
Mm-hmm.
It's both a rain chaser and a rainmaker.
Rainmaker.
What happens is this: we have a dry season and rainy season.
Mm-hmm.
During the rainy season, when it rains too much, the crops will spoil.
Right.
During the rainy season, if it doesn't rain much, the crops will spoil.
Mm-hmm.
So his job is to make sure that he manipulates nature
Right.
so that the right amount of rain comes. The right amount of rain comes so that, crops can grow and then the harvest would be plentiful.
Right. Yeah, we have that. That's beautiful. Even like the kings, let's say a king is trying to do a celebration.
Right.
And then maybe they say the weather forecast say, oh, okay, there's going to be rain today, so. But that day is the day they're going to do this particular traditional celebration.
Mm-hmm.
With the rainmakers, we stop the rain
Yes.
until we finish the celebration.
Then the rain will
can fall as long as you want.
My brother.
Yes.
Now, this is where I always say, how do we have all these powers? I just don't know about it.
It's natural. It's not, we didn't do anything. It's not that we went to do this, we went to do that. It is natural. Because if you're in touch with nature, if you believe in nature and live a simple life, honest life, love people, have an open mind, the spirit of nature will come into you.
Beautiful.
Yes, and then you live with it. We don't do nothing magical or that we're trying to do. It's just because we love nature. We love nature, we love people, we love things. That's why you see the hunters.
Right.
When they go to the forest, they are not afraid of animals. They know what to do to tell them, calm down. Okay?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Yes. Because people, the animals, when they see human, everything has changed now. Because now we're putting them in the zoo, putting them everywhere.
Yes.
You go to tiger now, they'll knock your head off. Before, when they see you, they calm down. Because you got a spirit. You know what to do to them. They stay where they are.
When we were growing up, this land deity, the custodian of the land deity,
right,
they go on a hunting expedition.
Right.
There's a horn that he blows. When he blows that horn, any dangerous animal will have to go about 50 miles. The lion, the tiger, the leopard, anything that can kill a human being, when he blows that horn, they're moving.
Once they hear the horn, that's it. They're gone. They say, oh. They just go back.
I'm out of here. My brother, before we close,
yes,
I just want you and I to talk. Why are we doing this? Why are you and I, why are we talking about traditional, what we're talking about, when we could be doing other things?
Other things is because of the love we have for our people. It's because we are very humble people. If you don't have humility in your heart, if you don't have love for your people, you will not even be doing this show you're doing now.
Okay.
It's because you mean well for everyone. You want to find a way to bring our people back so that all the sufferings, the things going on will stop. Because once you know who you are and start doing the right thing, the problems we have will begin to diminish. Like we're talking about, we seem to only have like political independence, economic independence, forget about that, zero. Religious or traditional.
Abandoned.
It's because we're still not trying to find out who we are. And so we have to continue.
We're almost running out of time. If people want to contact you, how do they do it?
Okay, they can go to one of my websites, officialpapajongo.com.
Okay.
Regular official papajongo.com, or they can send email
Okay.
adichie.emperor2@gmail.com.
Okay. African traditionalism is different. Different is not deficient. Different is not devilish. Different is not primitive. Different is not uncivilized, and different is not ungodly. This is the way Africans have lived their lives from the beginning of time, or since the beginning of time. This is their connection to their Creator. They don't worship the devil. For those of you who are my regular listeners and viewers, I want to thank you for your patronage. For those viewing this for the first time, you have just embarked on a journey in African traditionalism. May Amon-Ra, whom my tradition calls Nanwene, always bless you. Take care.
Thank you.